The revolution began with the prince getting his jaw blown off. The broadcast had started like any other piece of imperial propaganda. A military parade to mark 500 years since the Imperium reconquered Kaeth's duty. Prince Claudius Veth on his ridiculous mechanical horse, waving to the crowds in the Plaza of Atonement. Then something shifted, a flutter at the edge of my awareness. Tension, anticipation, and beneath it, a well-restrained bloodlust. I scanned the crowd. There, a figure, disguised in an enforcer uniform, perfectly mimicking their slow, heavy gait, moving through the crowd in parallel to the prince, never looking directly at him. Then the assassin struck. They burst through the crowd, vaulted the barricade, and raised their weapons. 3 arms, 3 enormous Liberator auto-stub revolvers. The prince was oblivious. The inbred fool was still grinning like he'd won the war single-handedly. The first 2 rounds flashed against his shield, bright enough to blind any shooter. But the assassin didn't flinch. The volley of heavy caliber fire pounded the shield until it strained, flickered, and died. The next round clipped the prince's shoulder. Another buried itself in his gut. The last blew his weak chin clean off. He slipped out of the saddle and fell under the horse. Metal hooves crushed the prince's chest, but the horse trotted forward, unfazed, trailing blood-soaked hoof prints through the plaza. Someone should give that horse a medal, I thought. But there was no such escape for the assassin. A wall of stub gunfire and bolter rounds turned them, and any poor citizen unlucky enough to be behind them, into blood mulch. The pict screen went dark. I looked around the cafeteria. F-Shift sat in stunned silence. Molly sat beside me, low stick burning forgotten between her fingers. We'd just crawled out of a 22-hour stint repairing ventilation systems at Enforcer headquarters, only to find the revolution had begun. And there was no sign of the Star Children, just a dead prince and a lot of blood. Day 48. Are you sure you set the charges right? That was Ferris below me on the ladder. Fresh recruit. We'd needed bodies after we'd botched the last sabotage run. Above me, Molly's anger flared, hot and sharp. She said nothing. We continued our descent through the ventilation shaft. Ferris continued. It's just that this facility has backup generators. What if the explosion breaches the reserve tanks? I felt a wave of dread rise up within Molly. I stopped climbing. Molly, did we account for that? She didn't answer. Move, I bellowed. We scrambled down, frantic and desperate. I didn't even hear the blast. I just felt the shockwave crash over my body. The rungs slipped from my grip, and I tumbled into darkness. Day 54. I awoke in a tiled room that looked like a slaughterhouse. Bloody, broken bodies, makeshift beds, and the tang of other unsavory fluids in the air. Despite the searing pain lashing my skull, I raised myself upright. A hand touched my shoulder. It was Molly, bruised and battered, but smiling. The medicae said you hit the bottom of the shaft pretty hard. Few broken bones and a fractured skull. What about Ferris? Molly shook her head. We sat in silence for a moment. Molly stared at me differently, cautiously. Slowly, I realized I couldn't feel her presence anymore. Molly used to radiate warmth, care, and sometimes a little impatience. Now there was just nothing. A blank. It was the loneliest feeling in the world. Day 61. We'd been in the medical facility for a week when news of the Star Children arrived. The silky voice of our Magus issued from the wall-mounted Voxcaster. Rejoice, my brothers and sisters, for the Star Children have answered our prayers. Rise to the surface, let our devotion be their beacon. We collected our weapons, headed to the tunnels, and climbed the ladder to salvation. Together, we wandered through dead streets and rubble, until we heard the sounds of shouting, singing, and celebration. It sounded like a party, A party in the Plaza of Atonement. "This is it," Molly told me, eyes bright. We hurried closer. The street lumens were dead, but the square was illuminated by thousands of candles. They gave the space a warmth and a life it had never known under the Imperium. I saw hundreds of people, all celebrating. There was drinking, dancing, and a band setting up on a stage made of packing crates. Children played on statues of long-dead royal family members who stared down disapprovingly at their disloyal subjects. I could see every strata of Kaethian society: hazard suits, high society robes, PDF uniforms. We'd all fought together. But as Molly and I pushed through, I felt eyes on us, suspicious, wary. At the center of it all, raised on an empty plinth, stood our Magus. Apart from the very expensive-looking robes, this short, pudgy man looked more like an administratum clerk. Behind him sat the cocoon, wrapped in silk and adorned with flowers, our gift from the Star Children. The crowd stared at it, weeping, hands reaching out and mouths moving in prayer. My head throbbed. I blinked hard, trying to focus through the pain. The cocoon sat in its place of honor, and I saw a grotesque mound of pulsing flesh. Its surface writhed, expanding and contracting, as if it couldn't decide what shape it wanted to be. It was hideous. I looked around, panicking. No one else seemed disturbed. Molly squeezed my hand, her face radiant under the candlelight. "Isn't it beautiful?" she whispered. The Magus raised his arms, slowly, indulgently, like a parent calming excitable children. The crowd fell silent. He raised the Voxcaster to his lips, eyes bulging with devotion. "My friends, the Star Children will soon descend." Then his gaze locked onto me. My skull burned. "Through their light, you will be born again. There will be nothing left of this dark husk you call your body. Your purified soul is all that will remain. You will be free." The crowd erupted into cheers. Around me, people embraced, laughing and crying at once. On cue, a long, low, lonely note echoed through the square. The band began to play. I recognized the melody from a hymn, a song we'd sang long ago, underground. Long before all this. The crowd began to sing. Molly's voice rose up beside me, but I heard something else beneath it. The Magus still had the Voxcaster raised to his mouth, spittle flecked from his lips as he clicked and chittered. My stomach churned. The skin of the cocoon began to spasm in response to his noises. It shed its stinking outer layer. Beneath was a pinkish-white mass, dotted with translucent patches growing like a tumor. The thing inside became agitated by our singing. There were muffled screeches and thrashing. A repulsive, warped face pressed against the translucent outer skin of the cocoon. The Star Child. Our savior. An unspeakable dread grew within me. A jagged limb tore through the cocoon. The skin ruptured and the thing inside tumbled to the ground, awash in a sea of foul-smelling birthing fluid. And so the first Star Child was born on Kaeth's duty. In horror, I saw the segmented outer shell, powerful muscles and dead, unblinking eyes. No, this couldn't be right. This isn't what we were promised. Then a thought cut through my confusion, telling me to look down. I saw my arm. For the first time, I truly saw it. The hardness of it, the grotesque, insect-like armored plating. My mother told me it was a blessing from the heavens, a sign that I was destined for greatness. The Star Child had the same skin, the same white bone, the same red coloring, the same Xenos filth. Some long, dormant survival instinct kicked in. It told me to stop staring like a fracking idiot and to do something before this thing tore out our guts. "No!" I screamed as I fumbled for my weapon and raised it unsteadily. "It's Xenos. Don't you see? It's..." The crowd turned on me. Hands grabbed me from behind. My autogun clattered to the ground, useless. The Magus roared over the Voxcaster. I thrashed against them, but more hands seized my arms, my legs, forcing me down to my knees. "Please," I begged, looking into their faces. Faces I'd grown up with, worked beside, prayed beside. "You don't understand." A rifle butt smashed into my mouth. I felt blood and broken teeth. Molly stood over me, gripping my autogun, staring down with contempt. "Heretic!" Molly shrieked, her voice shrill with rapture and rage. "Denier! Doubter!" I watched in terror as the Star Child rose to its feet, unsteadily. It twitched, scanning its surroundings as if sensing something, and then turned to me. I locked eyes with the Xeno's abomination. It screeched and charged, moving with impossible speed and grace, talons clicking against the rockcrete. They forced my head down, exposing my neck and back. I could smell it now, the acrid stench of the creature. I heard the wet rasp of its breathing, and felt my own piss trickle down into my boots. "The Star Child honors you, sister," hissed Molly. "You will be the first to ascend to the heavens." I did the only thing I could. I prayed to the Emperor. "Protect us, four-armed Father, from those who cannot see your light," I recited, breathlessly. The first talon pierced my shoulder blade. Excruciating pain shot through me. I gritted what was left of my teeth and continued. "In your sacred limbs we find shelter. Lead us forth to meet our brothers and sisters." The next talon gouged into my spine. Numbness spread through my limbs. The words came out of me slowly, thickly. "Let us join in perfect unity, that we may never be alone again until the end of time." The world began to feel very far away. I sank into the warm darkness, alone with my fading heartbeat, until I sensed the Star Children waiting for me, not like that Xeno's abomination. These were beautiful, luminous, ancient beings descended from the heavens. There were millions of them, billions, part of a consciousness so vast it made my existence, my anger, my fear, my loneliness, seem so pointless. They took my hand kindly, patiently, and led me forward through the infinite sea of souls. And there they were, my parents, my crew, my friends, all alive and grinning as if the war had all been some awful dream. Molly stood among them, her arms open, welcoming me back. All was forgiven. I could feel them again, their love, their hope, their joy. I was whole. Now I finally understood. The Star Children wanted to connect us, all of us. Back in another world, in another lifetime, a mouth full of spikes closed around what used to be my throat. The thing that used to be my body dissolved. But that hardly mattered now. I'd found my family, waiting in the stars, and I would never be alone again. On Kaeth's duty, the faithful rejoice. They sing hymns of ascension while a hive fleet blocks out the sun. Their prayers answered by chittering gods, who bring them together, all of them, forever. The four-armed Emperor protects. This has been Tales from the Ordo Redactus. If you fancy more Warhammer short stories, be a good chap and hit that like button, would you? Perhaps subscribe while you're at it. Good lad.